Hey guys and girls, how's it going? Hope you guys having a great week. So we are back today with our first podcast of 2024. Welcome to the Normandy newsfeed, guys. Your one-stop shop for all things gaming and geek culture related. Today I'm joined, of course, by Dante, and also we have an Edge with us today. Sadly,
Yours.
Fish couldn't make it today, but hopefully he can join next time. But the three of us are going to get together today, and we've got a lot to talk about. So this should be a pretty good podcast for you guys. We're going to kick off with the first section, which is What's New?
How you holding up, Skipper?
So I'm going to start off this section today, as I always do, talking about some of the things I've been playing recently. So I had a little bit of time off the first week in January, and I got some games for Christmas. And which is always nice. And I kind of enjoyed having the first week off in January. Can I just say that? I might try and book that again next year. Rather than having Christmas, I don't want any time off before Christmas. I'd rather have January off, and then I could just play things I got for Christmas, which is awesome. But I got a few new games, one of which I did get and really, really enjoyed was Robocop Rogue City, which I was not expecting to enjoy. But I absolutely friggin' loved it. It was so good. It's cheese-tastic. It is very, very faithful to the movies, particularly 1 and 2, and it's set after the events of 2. It's great. The really cliche thing of where you play Batman Arkham Knight or Arkham City. It's like you really feel like Batman. You really feel like Robocop in this game, and it's great. The gunplay is great, and it's brilliant. There's some nice RPG mechanics to it as well, where you'll go in and scan for clues, and you'll talk to people and make certain dialogue choices. But the combat is it's just he's slow and clunky, as you would expect. But a badass, you can punch through walls, and you can pick up motorcycles and just throw them at people and just cause absolute mayhem. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I beat it in about 18 hours, give or take, and had a blast playing it. And I had the Robocop theme song in my head for several weeks. Literally, I would walk downstairs. Dante can attest to this. I would walk downstairs, and as I put the kettle on to make a coffee, I'd be like dun 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 dun. The entire.
You're gonna say you're walking down the stairs like Robocop.
Like Robocop. Just yes. Well, sometimes I feel like Robocop. I'm quite stiff, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. The writing is really great, and recommend it. If you haven't played it, it's very, very good. The other game I started, which was actually last Friday on our Friday stream, was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is a 2D action side-scroller Metroidvania game, and damn, that game is good.
It's nice.
It's really nice. The art style is really cool. The platforming in this game, seriously, who made this? Wherever we are, who the heck made it? There's spikes and traps everywhere. It's very, very faithful, I think, to Prince of Persia. They've done a really good job, and the combat is really nice as well. It feels great. It feels a little bit like Metroid Dread, in the fluidity of movement and combat. But both you and I played it, didn't we, Dante? And we did the whole 3 death rule, where if one of us dies 3 times, we pass the controller over. So we did it like that.
Kind of worked.
We got into this section where I think we shouldn't have been. It was this poison thing with these rat ninja ladies. Everything was just trying to kill us, and we died quite a few times. And we shouldn't have been there, so we moved on to another place. But it's very good. I recommend it. I'm going to be reviewing it actually once I've finished it, and we're going to be streaming it again this Friday at 8 p.m. UK time. So that's pretty much what I've been playing this month. Edge, what have you been playing?
Well,
things, I think.
Well, 2024 has been a more productive year than I have had in recent years.
Yeah.
I've only been going for about probably 2.5 years, maybe a bit longer. Currently, I'm playing and there's a method to my madness. I'm playing at the moment VIII, Lacrimosa of Dana.
Okay, I have seen that. Yeah.
It is a action RPG made by the same guys who make the Trails of Cold Steel.
Oh wow, which is a
Um,
series that you absolutely love. So
I do. It's the premise of this one is following the adventures of a guy called Adel or Adel, and each of the stories is self-contained. So you don't actually have to play any of the previous ones. You can do, but this one is set in its own kind of self-contained story. You get shipwrecked on this deserted island, and the gameplay itself is as you're running around, and exploring, you find other survivors of the shipwreck.
Right.
You've got to work together to make a little settlement, and discover how to get off the island. You've got a kraken swimming around the edge of the island. You've got to try and figure out how to get past that.
Okay.
And the wonderful thing about the game is like wherever I am, because it's in zones, I can see landmarks where I am at, so I can kind of work out where to go next while I'm on the island.
Right.
So it's a nice little feature for that, and it has kind of Zelda elements to it with special equipment you can equip, so you can traverse like certain obstacles. I'm going to be doing.
Is it on Game Pass that?
Yeah, it's on game. It's on PlayStation membership. So if you have the middle membership, you can just download it.
Which I do.
I've heard it's a good one.
It's a really good one, and the reason why I'm playing it at the moment is number 9 is also free to play, and then number 10 one that is coming out is Nordic, so it's going to involve Vikings. So it looks very shiny. The 10th one. But again, it's following the same character, but the timelines can be sometimes prequels or sequels. So I'm enjoying it. That's one, and basically, this year is going to be the year of the RPG again for me.
Yeah.
So many.
You have a lot of really good JRPGs coming out this year. Like first half of the year, you are eating well. You're having like a 5-course meal, like at the beginning of the year.
For those who don't know, I've tried out the Granblue fantasy demo.
Nice. Okay. That game looks really, really pretty.
It does look really good fun. I tried the demo out. It had 3 sections to it: a tutorial, so you can learn the combat, a single-player story part of it, and then you've got the multiplayer action of it. And
That's a nice demo. Is that? That's a really good, like, showcasing every part of the game. I like that when demos do that.
And the cool bit about it as well is if you do all the bits on the demo, you can take some rewards from it onto the main game. So for me, that's a nice incentive. I don't know enough of the story, and this is one of the few times I don't know enough about an RPG series, so I'm just going in blind, which I think is probably a good thing. So my expectations aren't going to be too high or too low. But I'm going to be getting some gameplay of that shown, and I'm also doing a mini review of the Dana game with VIII out at some point to show people, so people can decide if they want to play it or not.
Right.
Hopefully spoiler free. Downloaded Pal World recently, and I'm starting to play that.
I'm kind of like on the fence about it. I'm like, I kind of wanna. I'm like Pokemon with.
It's
guns?
on Game Pass.
I know it is, which makes me even more likely to want to pick it up.
It's not Pokemon. I mean, visually. You could say it's Pokemon with guns.
Yeah.
But
more
it's
of a
not.
survival game, isn't it? Like
it's like Ark Survival meets
I
No Man's
kind
Sky
of would be
meets collectibles.
I'd be more interested to play it multiplayer, I think.
Yeah.
So like maybe next time if you are planning to play it, let me know, and I might join you on it. I think I'd enjoy it more. Yeah, I'm gonna install it. And then I probably will play it.
Then.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, and like it's become like this huge frigging craze. Like it had like 8 million players or something.
It's the most streamed, the most played game on Steam as of this moment of 2024.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. And then currently, me and Strife, we just did obviously the podcast where we're talking about Wilds and what monsters we want to see and not see in the video. And I'm downloading the displayed at the moment, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. To give that a try.
We need to finish that, Dante.
Yeah, we didn't get too far before we get distracted.
I think we got halfway through, and then we did. We got about halfway through, but we played that. I think we got it PC. Did we get it on Game Pass?
Yeah.
It was one of them. We definitely got it, but
It's on PlayStation membership at the moment.
Yeah,
download.
It's good. It's good fun. It's good fun. Like I like Tiny Tina, so it's good. It's like D&D, but Borderlands, which is fun. So yeah. Oh, nice. You're in for a treat there then. So Dante, what have you been playing? A few things or doing?
I finally got. Well, some might have seen if they were checking the channel out. We finally got around to playing Hi-Fi Rush.
I know. Which is great, yeah.
Which is hilarious.
I've
I love
been
it.
waiting for you to check that out because, like, even when I played it last year, I'm like, oh my god, this is Dante's game. Like, he would absolutely love this, and so I've just been enjoying seeing your reaction.
Yeah, that's my kind of mad sense of humor / silliness and quirkiness about it, but also, a rhythm game that I can actually get into and
that's a bit more
not
forgiving.
botch up.
Yeah,
than
Crypt of the Necro Dancer.
Necro Dancer, that's it,
yeah. Yeah.
Because damn, I suck at that game.
It's hard,
but,
I think.
But this one, I could actually do all right in. And lots of cool combos and mad visuals and just silly voice acting and great. It's just funny.
The story, the writing is just, it really is cool. It's like watching or playing like a 90s Saturday morning cartoon. But sort of like anime style, but it's so good. Like, and the cast is so great. Like, it's just very good. It's very funny, and it breaks the fourth wall quite a lot. Like, it really does, and it's just a joy. It's like, sometimes you play those games where they make you laugh, they make you feel good. You just enjoy it, every moment that you're playing it. And I think Hi-Fi Rush is that kind of game. So.
And all the way through it as well, you've got this constant beat, and you're wanting to boogie with the music while you're playing, and you're like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And every little element's going with the timing. It's like, it's great.
It's great, and the boss fights are great too. So
Indeedy. Talking about crazy boss fights, I'm still also playing Fires of Rubicon Armored Core 6.
Yeah,
it is 6, isn't it?
It is 6. Yeah.
I can't remember if
I got you that for Christmas, didn't I? So yeah.
So really liking the crazy mech action on that, and constantly like building and upgrading and switching stuff in and out, and then just awesome mech fights. It's it's good. And so far, I would have preferred a different way of them kind of telling the story and all that, rather than just.
It's from Software, though. I mean, they're not well known, like, for their well-told stories or narratives in like any of their games, and much of their story and narrative is like hidden behind findable lore and stuff. And I feel Armored Core is probably similar. But I've watched but the combat looks complicated as hell,
it's
but looks
spot
good.
on.
Yeah,
it's like you get used to it. It's the buttons are all mad and all this and that, especially if you start changing stuff and then going, okay, that button does this now and all this and that. But it is a proper Gundam style. It's like, this is how I would play a mech game with a control pad. This,
if you're a Gundam fan or a Zone of Enders fan, like, you're gonna love Armored Core. Like, it really,
it makes it easy to say gun and then damn.
Gundam. So yeah, it's just been kind of fun to, like, sometimes I'm watching you play, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of shit happening on screen right now. There's a lot. And but it's fun to like watch you dodging things and stuff.
I might try and tackle the human players online in PvP after I've completed the story as well.
With that. Let's hope it goes better than it did in Elden Ring. But yes, yeah. So lots of good stuff there then. I'm kind of excited for 2024. Like, there's a lot of good stuff coming out at the beginning of the year, which we will talk about, obviously, because it's one of our community questions today. So we're going to move on to our next segment of the podcast, which is the gaming news segment.
Welcome to Citadel Newsnet. I'm Emily Wong.
So this is kind of new. So one of the things I wanted to do this year in the podcast is actually just talk a little bit more about different news that happens in the month, and have a little segment where we just cover some of the key news stories from the current month and what happened, and generally talk about our thoughts on it. And I did pick a couple of things that happened this month, starting off with a nice positive news story, I think, which is that Bobby Kotick, he's out. He left Activision on the 29th of December. finally, I would say ding dong, the bitch is dead, but you know, like, but he's out, which is great. Yeah, it was kind of a quiet sort of. He just left, but a lot of people were not quiet about him leaving. There was very much a celebration across social media, Twitter, definitely. People sort of posting funny memes and things of like just celebrating and like, you know, the devil is left and that kind of thing. But what was interesting is a couple of people, either that used to work at Activision Blizzard, actually kind of basically just lay into him and was like kind of revealed like some shady stuff that he did. I mean, we already knew Bobby Kotick was pretty shady. Like, we already knew this. I mean, there are reasons that there are memes of him with devil horns out there, which he complained about once. Apparently it was affecting his dating life, apparently. Stop being yourself then, Bobby. But yeah, so there was a couple. Christina Hopsky, she worked on Call of Duty for 2 years as a programmer back at Demonware, and she said his decisions just made their games worse. Of course, he's behind a lot of the annual kind of release and crappy, you know, campaigns and things like that. Apparently in her first month working there, it came out that he actually threatened to have an employee killed, which is insane.
Well.
Yeah, because they, you know, they didn't do what he wanted them to do or whatever. One of the producers of Overwatch 2, because obviously we know the release of Overwatch 2 didn't go the best that it could have done, and really it was just Overwatch 1.5 effectively.
Not even that.
Not even that, yeah. And it just completely flopped, and obviously it was delayed and then got released, and the developers, one of the producers said that Bobby Kotick was not the only reason, but a lot of what he did really kind of interfered with the development of that game. He'd put them on silly, like, random projects, and pull them off, like, onto Overwatch 1, and just pull them onto these random projects and then cancel them, like, for no bloody reason, after they'd done all of this work on these random projects that he wanted doing. And then they basically just wasted months and months and months of development on Overwatch 2, which is one of the biggest reasons that they were so behind schedule. And then, yeah, he basically, like, I think they had a drop in stock prices at one point, and he tried to blame it on the release of Diablo 4 not going so great and the release of Overwatch 2 not going so great, forgetting, of course, but forgetting, of course, all of the controversy surrounding all the sort of sexual assault and harassment charges and investigation that was going on at the time. So trying to, like, pass the buck. And I think when they did like a report on it and deep dive into it, like, it was revealed that he knew all along about, like, what was going on, and kind of covered it up and protected the people in leadership and things like that, and fired people before they could complain. And he's just a horrible, horrible person. So I'm glad that he's gone, and I hope it means that, you know, now that Microsoft have officially taken over ownership of Activision Blizzard, I'm hoping, like, it'll be a better thing for the developers that work there and the projects that they work on, and hopefully the games that they make. Of course, the guy's got away. I think he got paid like $155 million in compensation. So he's leaving on a golden, like, parachute, just jumping off the ship. You know, I would have preferred, like,
undeserved,
like, Phil just to go in and be like, "You're sacked, dude. Like, you're shit. Get out." You know what I mean? And, like, just not giving.
Here's the window.
Do that. Yeah, exactly. He couldn't have. Yeah, throw him out of a 60-story skyscraper or something. Like, obviously he could do that, but it kind of still gets under my skin a bit that, like, this guy who's horrible person, basically got away with like $155 million compensation, and, like, the average salary, I think, of a video game developer is like something like $38,000 a year, you know. And you just look at that, you just think, oh, this games industry is just messed up in so many ways. What were your guys' initial thoughts on, obviously, him leaving? I'm going to imagine happiness. Right. Any thoughts, any extra things you want to say?
Dante, you first.
Just anger with the man. Just the entire history of crap dealt with him, and all the news we heard about him beforehand, and surrounding the company and everything as well. Just like, so yeah, glad he's gone, but also don't think he deserved that money on the way out.
I
Think he
agree
should
with
have been
you.
fined, if anything.
Yeah, I think he should have been. I think he should have been. He should have been prosecuted.
Mm.
You know, for the atmosphere of harassment and sexual assault. Or there should have been some degree of accountability.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like he's got away. Like, it's got without any consequences, and he could get another job, but he doesn't need to. Like, the guy is made of money. He could just sail off into the sunset on his beautiful 5 to 10 yachts that he clearly probably has. Like, yeah. So what you're more of an Activision Blizzard, because you've played like obviously Diablo 4, right? Like, what are your hopes for the future of like Activision Blizzard now that Bobby's gone out the door and
My
obviously
thoughts,
new
you mean?
ownership? Yeah. Have you got any hopes or?
So I'm going to be that guy, aren't I?
Be that guy.
It doesn't matter if he's gone or not,
Yeah.
personally, because the issue. Don't get me wrong. People want to celebrate that the guy's gone. Do it. Do the memes. Go for it. The problem will always be is that with people high up in these industries, and unfortunately, Activision Blizzard
They're
isn't
not
the only
Uke.
company
Yeah.
that
You've
I
got
haven't
Ubisoft. Yeah.
in the media for saying stupid shit. There's this kind of disconnect between like developers, gamers, and the high at the top. Their goal in the top is to make money because they need to make a profitable business. Do I agree with that? I mean, speaking as a gamer or speaking as a person who wants to make money, if you're making money, then you can invest that in theory to make more games, more product. The problem with Kotick is that he is a dick from what people are telling. I don't know enough about him. I know about all the controversies. In terms of playing Diablo, I would hope that with new leadership, there would be hopefully more opportunity for them to kind of course correct and make some better games, or just put more energy into those games, because I realize they got a lot to fix.
Yep.
This will be a good opportunity for them to go, we're not the same Blizzard, we're not the same Activision group. We've had a dark patch, but here we go, we're going to come back, we're going to go the distance to get that trust back.
Yeah.
However, the problem is that when everyone ever goes, you don't know who's in the background. Could be a worse person coming in, it could be a better. So I'm kind of at the moment, I'm just waiting to see what happens. I have no kind of beef or any kind of thing involved with it, because I played Diablo 4, but again, I said my piece about Blizzard, and I know I'll never buy a game from them again.
Yeah.
Because they've burnt that bridge with me, so it's very unlikely I'm ever going to play anything from them again, because it's just I don't trust their quality. We'll have to wait and see.
I hope that Activision Blizzard can do something new, something fresh. Like, they've been working on the same like Diablo games and Call of Duty games and multiple Overwatches for years now, because that's what, they're chasing trends and chasing what's safe and what makes money, right? I would love the developers at Activision Blizzard to be given a little bit of creative freedom to make something new, to try something new. And maybe Microsoft will be able to help with that. I don't know. Or might be more open to that. I'm not sure. Because again, Microsoft is a business and they want to make money, right? But I hope that is the case for them. So let's move on to the next gaming news article. So this one actually was to do with the Steam Awards, the beginning of the year. So obviously, end of the year, there are game awards that happen left, right, and center. We obviously talked about the Game Awards in our podcast in December, which was really fun. I really enjoyed our conversation. So if you haven't done so, go check it out, guys, because it's a really good discussion on the winners, what we thought of the Game Awards, and the announcements. But you did have the Steam Awards, which is nominated for by the public and voted for by the public. When you say that straight away, you know something's going to go very, very wrong. And basically, in the Game Awards this year, there were a couple of rightful winners. So Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year, right? fine. That was fine. I could see that. But there were some nominations and some winners this year that were clearly purposefully trolling, like to make
For
a
the
statement
lols.
for the lols, to make a statement. Obviously, a couple of them, two of them specifically stand out really. The first was one of the awards, which is called Labor of Love. And the winner of that was Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, that award, Labor of Love, basically is for developers that continue to nurture and support their game, their creation. So they're still getting new content many, many years later. And the funny thing about that is basically Red Dead Redemption 2 Online, which is the online, obviously, games as a service portion of the game, that stopped getting updates pretty much in July 2021. And the development team were like, yeah, we're not working on it anymore because we're working obviously on Grand Theft Auto 6, clearly. So that game, like there were some like fairly decent nominations, like Dota 2 was nominated, Apex Legends was nominated, Deep Rock Galactic was nominated, which is awesome. But Red Dead Redemption 2 won. Shouldn't have been nominated, and it definitely shouldn't have won. But Steam just let it win. Let it get nominated. Like no one was checking that crap.
The troll voting.
And then the one that made me laugh the most was Most Innovative Gameplay Award.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be.
Which went to Starfield.
Yeah.
Now, all things for that game, I would not call that game innovative. There are some things about the game that are very cool, right? Like the ship customization and shipbuilding is really friggin' funky, and I want to see it in other sci-fi games. And that's probably the most creative part of that game, I would say. But I certainly wouldn't call it innovative. It is Bethesda by the book. That's what I would call Starfield, Bethesda by the book. From its quest design to its UI, which is awful and so impossible to navigate, to its inventory management, which is just shocking. It's just basically Bethesda by the book. The problem I think many people have with Starfield, and it's not that it's a bad game, but many people felt that it didn't push the boundaries enough. It really showed the limitations of the creation engine, and it showed that Bethesda are not that it's not what people were hoping for, right? Which was the next step up for Bethesda. And for many people, it felt like a bit of a step backwards with the procedurally generated planets, which are mostly barren, like don't have very much on them. And even there are some good quests in it, but not on par with like the exploration of like Skyrim, where you could just come across some crazy stuff, right, that happens in the world. Like not as much of that in Starfield. So certainly it didn't deserve to win most innovative game of 2023. So obviously that clearly the public just getting in there and be like, we're gonna make a point and we're gonna do it through the Steam Awards. So what do you guys think of this news? I actually love it. I think it's kind of funny. I feel bad for the developers that deserve to have nominations that should have been nominated, right? Some of the teams, but it's also a little bit funny. But yeah, what's your take on it? The public.
You know what? If they can vote, they can vote, and I think it's fine. Generally speaking, end of the day, if they're making a statement, great. And they did a port, didn't they, recently, Red Dead Redemption, and it was just like a
Red Dead
lazy
Redemption,
port.
the first one, yeah.
So
it was.
Sometimes you have to hold companies accountable, and show this is not what we want.
But I think sometimes companies, I don't know whether they see it and they go, oh, okay, we see where you're coming from, because Bethesda actually tweeted thanking Steam for winning most innovative gameplay. Like, oh, we were.
They won't realize it. They literally have been trolled.
It was a joke.
Hopefully.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, to be honest, they could take it as a win and go, yeah, we got the most innovative for Steam this year. And people go, well, yeah, because it's a joke. But down the line, people will forget that they did it because of that, unless people keep reminding them.
Yeah.
So it's, I have no beef on it. I have nothing to say about it really. I just think it's funny.
It's funny. I find it
They
funny.
can put it on the portfolio, can't they? But that's the daft thing. It feels like, if you're going to give out awards and it does help some developers, you should give it to the right people.
Yeah.
I know, like, it's all fun and games and that, but you're not actually helping in that way.
Yeah, and there are people that work so hard on these games, right, making these games, and it's like they deserve their spotlight, right? Like, like 100%. Like there was some good, and it's on Steam as well. You sometimes get like the more kind of AA or AAA, like they get more like spotlight on Steam, whereas like the Game Awards is like it's for your big hitters, right? Like your AAA, where the money's at, right? Like your big publishers. So the Steam Awards is a good opportunity to like showcase other games, like for nominations and stuff.
Didn't get to shine because
no, they didn't.
Just
because
trolling.
people were trolling. Yeah, exactly. But if you're gonna make your awards publicly nominated and publicly voted, you're leaving yourself open to that. That is what can potentially happen. If you do that, and we know through review bombing and things like that people will just use it as a vehicle, right, to make a statement, even if they're not, necessarily doing the best thing. but yeah, well, people are going to do what they're going to do. So the other gaming news that happened this month is a sad one, to be fair. So 2023, as we know, was a pretty bad year for layoffs. About, I think the number at the end of 23 was about 10,500 layoffs in the video game industry, and it looks like 2023 is competing with that and wants to smash that record. January has not been a good month for layoffs. We've had a lot of big layoffs. Unity, obviously we had the Unity fiasco last year, which was incredibly tone deaf in terms of charging indie developers like per user for downloading the game. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It's like they just committed suicide. Like I don't know why they did it, but it's not the management and leadership that are paying the price. It's them that made those stupid ass decisions that lost them obviously stocks and everything. But it's normal workers, average workers that are paying the price. Unity announced that it laid off 25% of its staff. 1,800 people lost their jobs in January, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
Twitch also cut 35% of its staff. Is Twitch not doing well?
No, it's not.
No.
There's a lot of shit going on with Twitch at the moment.
Yeah, because they did some stupid thing about nudity or something, didn't they? And then that blew up in their face or something.
So the problem is that, and again, I'm sure people might correct me on this one because I try and listen to the conversation about what's going on, but it's also like there's a sense of when I get to a certain age, I just have an ambivalence of I don't give a shit anymore. I just go in just put my head down and just do whatever I want to do something else. With Twitch, so the issue is that there are people who have kind of abused the rules of the rules on how to stream on Twitch. So pandering to fan service with like their bodies and so forth.
Yep.
And instead of banning them or banning them off the platform, they're being very lax on certain people or certain Twitch streamers that make them a lot of money or a lot of views. And so some people have taken the WAS with the new rules that they put out. So because they would be like having like sensor bars over the breasts or like the groin area for men and women, so that they could sort of make it look like that they were naked.
Right. Okay.
But in other cases, they still have to look like they're wearing clothes. So and their own kind of rules are just kind of they're being very lax on it, and so there needs to be kind of a concise. If you're breaking the rules, you should be you should be done. Should be repercussions appropriate to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there isn't.
But yeah, 500 staff laid off from Twitch. That was in addition to the 400 staff they laid off last year in March, which was not good. Discord as well cut 17% of its staff, 170 staff laid off. There was a couple of developers. So the Dead by Daylight developer, Behavior Interactive laid off 45 people. Gearbox owned developer Boys Interactive laid off 125 people. I could keep going. The list is very extensive of different developers. But as of 19th of January, there have been 3,347 people laid off within the game kind of industry. That's insane. So that's like nearly a third of the way through what 2023 had. And I think this really, for me personally, this is a repercussion of poor decision at top. So obviously in 2022, when everybody was like, you know, in lockdown and at home and everybody was gaming because people were not working and they had all this free time, right? Like they decided, because things were so good in the immediate time, that this leadership decided immediate profit, right? Short-term profit. Let's expand to make as much money as we can and short-term profit in the now. And now that people are back to working and not spending as much money because of cost of living crisis and going through more of their backlog, people are now like, you know, they're not making as much as they had like predicted, because obviously what they were predicting was completely skewed. So they've invested in all this staffing and now they're going, oh, we're going to have to now cut back on this because we didn't actually predict things correctly. You're in a pandemic, dude. Like, I don't know why you would do any predictions in the middle of a pandemic. Nothing was going to be normal. Like, so it's crazy.
My gerbil could run some companies better than what they're doing right now, and he's dead.
But that's
How about I fucking say, when did you get a gerbil?
I know.
Yeah, exactly. He's been dead over 20 years.
Yeah.
But that would still make him a better.
But that's the thing, isn't it? About chasing that short-term profit rather than long-term sustainability. And that's the problem that a lot of publishers and leadership are making, right? Is that we got to please the shareholders. So we've got to keep making money. We've got to keep line go up, you know, that kind of thing. And and it's not the leadership that suffer. It's the staff, right? It's the developers. Hell, I would, like, if I was thinking about going into video game development, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been put off or that have moved out of video game development because they've been like, you know, I've got family to support, I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got kids. I can't continue working in an industry that could just get rid of me so easily. I have no protections, right? And obviously, you know, unionization is not really a thing in America, right? Maybe a bit different.
They've been trying hard to get a union going, but every time they're trying it, it's
big corporations are just but they need some level of protection, because the way in which they're being treated with so little respect for people's livelihoods and stability, like people that, like, hell, people relocate to work on projects. Like, I know people that have moved continents, right, to work for a game developer that they really want to work for, right? Not only across country. So people completely relocate, like to work at a company, and then you might be there for 2 years, 1 year, 5 years. You just don't know. And I just think that's really sad. Like, I really do. And I think long term for the game industry, I think it's a real worry. You know, that more seasoned staff that are laid off are going to be like, you know what, I'm out. Right? So we're going to lose all of this really experienced, really, like, you know, veteran developers that can, you know, support the younger blood coming in that don't know any different, you know. I just think it's a bit sad. Have you guys got anything you want to add on it, or
No,
just sad face.
It's a bit shit, really, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm hoping it'll get better, but we'll see. I don't anticipate it will do, just with the way things are going. So the last article, really, then I want to talk about today is about actually The Last of Us Part 2, the season 2, I should say, of the HBO show. So they finally cast their Abby for season 2. Did you watch The Last of Us, Edge? Like, the first season? Yes or no? I don't know what that hysterical laugh is means. Is that no?
That's like,
yes?
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Hey, N7K, have you played Dragon Ball Budokai 1, 2, and 3? Have you been playing those games recently?
No.
You ready for like Sparking Zero?
No. No.
Or are you gonna like
Have you
play
played
that game?
Have you played The Last of Us?
No.
It's so good.
I
so good.
Not Edge's jam.
So
So
don't get me wrong.
good.
The first one looked like fun to play. It didn't interest me at all. I'm sure it's a really good game, and maybe one day I will play them.
Okay.
But I've got no
Interest in it or
interest
investment
in
in
it.
it.
Investment exactly.
So-
So
Okay.
I can't speak about this.
Fair enough. So this is more me and Dante kind of discussion then. So
Yeah.
obviously we watched season 1 and loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's a very, very good
version of events from the
adaptation.
game.
Yeah, adaptation of the game. But it takes things from the first game and expands upon them in a great way. I wasn't sure of the casting to begin with. Like when they said Pedro Pascal as Joel, right, and Bella Ramsey as Ellie, I was like, no, absolutely not, no way in hell. And then I watched season 1. I was like, oh my god, no one else could have played them. So the casting was great and the acting was great and they did a really, really good job. So when I did hear about who is going to be cast as Abby, because it's going to be Caitlin Dever, she's done a few things. Not massive things that I've seen, so she's kind of quite young, upcoming kind of actress, most known for Booksmart apparently and No One Will Save You, neither of which I've seen, but apparently she's a pretty good actress and she's got pretty good acting chops in both movies. And she is connected to Naughty Dog because she did actually play Cassie in Uncharted 4. So she has some connection to Naughty Dog, which is probably where this has come from. But she actually read for the role of Ellie. And when you look at her, she does kind of look like Ellie. Like, she's a little bit like Ellie, like in her looks.
Could have happened.
But she's like 5'2". And Abby in part 2.
Abby looks like a dude.
Abby is a buff, like strong, physically intimidating, like very physical character.
No, I'm not even kidding. Like if you take the face off, if I'm looking at like the comparison
like
picture,
her physical build. Yeah. She.
I wouldn't think it's a girl.
No, when she starts, it's kind of, she doesn't, like when she's young, she's not like that. So I think it's part of it is like the need for survival and the training and everything that comes with it. But like, yeah, when I first looked at her, I was like, I'm not sure. She's very small. I can't, unless they have her like bodybuilding and properly like, doing press ups or whatever. Like, I don't know. But I thought the same with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and they were actually fantastic. So maybe this will be like a bit of a different version of Abby. Like maybe, which is fine. Like she doesn't need to look the same as Abby did in the games, right? They can still have the character the same, obviously, just in a different way, maybe a bit different. But like, I kind of feel bad for her. I hope she is prepared. I really do, because when I first heard, I'm like, oh, like I was like a little bit nervous about whoever they were gonna cast, because I'm like, you know how the public, part of the community obviously reacted to Abby. They did not like Abby, let's just say that. And some of the things that Abby does in the second game obviously is very unpopular. And parts of that horrible community doing just awful things, like sending death threats to the voice actress of Abby, like Laura Bailey, who's an incredible actress, really talented, and was just doing a job, and I really hope that like she is protected from that and she's not going to get any of that, and I hope that people will give her a fair shot. Like, give her a fair shot. Let's see what happens. But I think with part 2, like The Last of Us Part 2, they are splitting that into season 2 and 3. So I think they are going to be retelling the events of The Last of Us Part 2 over a longer period. So they're going to expand upon some things that a lot of people felt the pacing was really wrong with and was very sudden and very jarring. So hopefully,
like the pinata scene with like end of season 2, then you think?
Yes. So hopefully it'll be better, like the way in which they do it. Because there are parts of the part 2 where you play as Abby, right? So like she's gonna be a pretty big character in season 2 and season 3. So they obviously want to make sure they cast her right, but maybe they'll do more to like let us connect to the character a little bit more before certain things happen. But yeah, so what was your like take on it, Dante? Like, what did you think?
Yeah, well, like I say, that first one just cost of some community members just acting very stupidly to a poor voice actress. It's like
it's not even a face to it. Yeah,
it's not. It's not like she wrote the script and did the.
Yeah.
And it's not personal, man. It's their story. They can do whatever they want.
Exactly.
And yeah, so concerned for her, but hopefully people won't be as stupid, or maybe the script will be different in a way that there'll be less.
I don't think they're gonna change the events of what happened in part 2. They're not going to, because Neil Druckmann's a very proud man.
Yeah.
He will not change the events. I think what happened in part 2 will happen in the series.
But they'll
just tell it.
Yeah, they'll.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure there'll be some script
So
changes.
yeah, so watch this space. I'll wait and see until we get some trailer footage showing her, see how she looks. Right, she's got like maybe a bit of. There was an image of her with like her hair tied back. I'm like, you got a little bit of Abby like in the face, but nothing else. But we'll
CG
see.
on some muscles.
No, do not. I don't want CG muscles. None of that. None of that. I don't even want like maybe CG clickers and stuff, like, or like proper like clickers and stuff. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I think it's 2025 is it's coming out.
They might film it like Lord of the Rings, so Ellie's like Hobbit size. And they'll just have Gandalf fights Abby.
Just like some kind of trickery, foolery, tomfoolery. So that finishes our gaming news segment of the podcast. Let us know what you guys think of this segment. If you like this idea, please do feedback, obviously, and we'll bring this back in February's podcast. So we're going to move on to our first community question.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
So this one was asked by Jal Kont. I want to make sure I say that name right.
What did you say?
Kont.
Oh my.
I want to make sure I'm being very careful to say it correctly.
The more you repeat it, the more the algorithm.
I know, and the more people are going to giggle at me. So the question from Jal is, what is the most absurd thing you've been tricked into doing or believing? Edge, do you want to go first on this? Have you got anything to share?
So are we saying literally in non-gaming as well, or just
gaming?
It
could be anything non-gaming. My example is non-gaming. So
okay. So when one of my younger sisters turned 18, she guilt tripped me into learning the Napoleon Dynamite dance. Canned heat.
Still not seen that.
I think I need to see evidence of this video.
Well, there's no recording, so it's safe. So if no one's ever seen the film, I would recommend finding it and watching it. But she wanted me to do the dance from Napoleon Dynamite.
Why did she convince you? Like, why did she need you to do that? Was it like
because she said, if you love me, you'll do it. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm like,
emotional manipulation right there.
Well, to be honest, like, she's also a troll like me, so I'm like, I can respect that.
Fair.
But the worst bit of it was that I performed the whole thing, and she went to the bathroom just beforehand, so she missed the whole thing.
What? Did you have to do it again? Did you have to do it again?
I was like, I've done it just once only. Like, I'm not doing it twice. You should have been there. I think it's like, what the hell? Why did you walk off?
How did she miss it? Like,
well, the DJ put the track on.
Right.
And I didn't see when she'd gone off, so it's like, all right, fine, here we go. So that was a thing.
Sisters, y'all, sisters.
Evil.
Evil. Dante, what's your example?
I massively struggled to think of any. I think
Really?
that I might be just too not. I just don't trust anyone, so I probably don't get tricked into things so easily.
All right.
But I do remember I tricked somebody by accident. Well, not well. Okay, it was
How
this
do
lad
you
at
trick
work.
somebody by accident?
Because Google helped me by accident.
All right. Okay. Elaborate.
So it was this lad at work, and he wasn't the brightest, but basically,
Oh,
once again, it was another lady where he's trying to trick me into something, and I'm like, no, I know that's wrong. No, I'm not going to fall for that. So I decided to get him back, and I was on about, yeah, haggis is a real animal. It's a little creature that scurries the moors of Scotland, and it was like, what? And so I just started going into
Oh my
details about
God.
these wee little haggis
I bet it
that
would
like
be
run
the
around.
cutest thing ever.
That was brilliant. So, as the younguns do these days, to double check the facts, they went onto Google and image search for haggis, and of course they found people trolling online making up mock haggises and like there's these little creatures, and he was like, "Oh, you're right." And then me and this
That's
other,
why you've always got to double and
just
triple
like-
check your sources. That's hilarious.
just
Oh
like,
my
"Do we
God.
tell him?
I want it
Do
to
we
be real. I think that would be so much fun in the
Yeah.
Highlands of Scotland.
Wee
Like
little
in
haggis."
the wee little haggis running around. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Okay, that's kind of a cute one, but I feel bad for that guy. Like people can think, "Oh, bless you. Bless you." And what would his reaction be? Like, no, you eat it. You're eating these cute little creatures. Okay.
Eat all the other planet.
I've never actually
creatures,
had
though.
haggis actually, so I've never tried it. Even though I have Scottish family, I've never tried it. Right. So my example is actually when I was in Japan. So there's a certain kind of food called natto, which is basically fermented soybeans, but it's got the consistency of snot, effectively. And I'd heard of it, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna try that. And one of my, I was like, because they have it with like rice or on sushi or whatever, or just plain, just in a bowl. And basically, one of my friends, my so-called friends at the time, when I was like visiting in Aomori in the north of Japan, was like, oh yeah, actually, if you have natto in an omelet, it's delicious. It's so nice. It's so good. It makes it really yummy. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. I trust you. So she made me this omelet, and she just, I feel queasy just thinking about it. She filled it to the brim with natto. So you can imagine it's already very kind of slimy omelet, right, that I'm cutting into, and I'm like lifting it with my fork, and there's this natto just dangling off of the end of it, right? Like, it was
Slime.
honestly, I think, and I felt bad because she'd made me this omelet, and I was like, oh, what do I do? Do I have to eat it now? Like, because, it's been made obviously by a friend. So you're like, will she think I'm rude if I don't eat it? Right? Like, kind of thing. I managed about half of it. And then I was like, I'm really full.
Not for me.
Not for me. So after that, I was like, absolutely never, ever again. And like when all of my Japanese friends were like, it's really healthy for you and it's really good for you, I'm like, I don't care. It's disgusting, and I will never, ever eat it again. So, yeah, I got tricked into having a natto omelette. Ugh. Not nice. Not nice at all. So that's my answer to that question.
Spit it out, or are you trying to build suspense?
So, in today's main feature, I wanted to talk about the Xbox Developer Direct. So obviously on 18th of January, Xbox did about a 48-minute direct where they showcased about 5 games coming in 2024 to Xbox. And I thought they started the year really, really strong. So I've been doing a lot of talking because obviously I've been covering all of the gaming news. I feel quite tired. So I want to put it to you guys. Was there anything out of that direct? Because obviously they showcased Avowed, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Visions of Mana, the new Indiana Jones game, The Great Circle, and another one, was it Ava or something like that? Like it was a I've forgotten the name of it. Never mind. There was 5. So professional. So what did you guys think then? Who wants to start? Ed, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I've not seen all the games mentioned on the list. The one that I watched, which I was more curious about, was the Indiana Jones game.
Yeah.
Because I loved Uncharted when that was out on the PS3 when it first came out.
Right.
And I played through those. I know you're a big fan of Uncharted.
I love Uncharted. Yeah, played them all.
And what kind of really sold me a little bit on the game. So if it's coming out this year, I don't know if it is or not. But if it was,
I think it is 2024, but that could be pushed. It
could be pushed. If it's end of this year, then it could be a nice game to end on. I liked how they tried to keep it faithful to an actual movie.
Yeah.
So like the way that they had the cutscenes, the actors.
Cinematic, yeah.
I liked how Indy's friends were the same actors from the original movies. So it's like they were trying to make an actual movie as a game. And the guy who does the voice for Indy, I don't believe it is Harrison Ford, but someone sounds very similar. He does a good job.
I don't think they could afford Harrison Ford, bless him. And he would sound quite aged, wouldn't he? Like quite
extra
old.
gravelly now.
Very gravelly, yeah. So maybe.
I think the first person view again is fine. I like the whip mechanic, being able to like distract and do crazy things like that. It looks like there'll be puzzles in this as well, and understanding like an interesting plot story with like locales. I am excited for it. It's a game that I would pick up and go, do you know what? This is not outside of my usual thing.
Yeah.
I would be up for that. I can't speak for the others. I haven't played Hellblade 1.
Right. Yeah.
I know you said it was one of your favorite games of 2020.
It was my game of the year.
Or 2021, was it?
Can't remember when that came out, but it was my game of the year when it came out.
So I know that one you're probably looking forward to. And the other ones I would need to look at, but I'm glad that Xbox are doing something similar to Nintendo Directs and to Sony's State of Plays, because you kind of want. It's great that you can have these big, like Tokyo Game Show or E3 when it was actually doing right. You have these big events to showcase what's coming out. But I think if anything, if you're wanting to start the year off strong and get people invested into the Game Pass or even to play on Xbox games and so forth for Microsoft games, it's great that they're showing what that investment is doing. So all these companies, all these platforms or studios that they're buying up to make these games for them, it's great that we're starting to see some of that coming back, which I think is good.
Yeah, for sure. Like the new Indiana Jones was the one that has me most excited out of all of the games that they showed, because I'm a big fan of Indiana Jones. I love the movies anyway. My favorite is Last Crusade. I love it. And then this is actually set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade, so it's canon. It's set in between, and I'm very excited for it because it's made by Machine Games, and Machine Games are the team that did the Wolfenstein series. Apart from Youngblood, the last one wasn't great, so I'm hoping they don't follow that trend. But the Wolfenstein games are actually fantastic. They know how to do Nazis well. They know how to do villains well. It's very good as the Wolfenstein series for that. It's obviously set in an alternative reality where the Nazis win the war. But yeah, that's a mixture of first person and third person. So it's third person for like cutscenes, right, and certain bits, and then it's
climbing.
Climbing and stuff, and then it's first person for pretty much everything else. So, and they do good gunplay and good gameplay in Wolfenstein, and really good stealth. So yeah,
there's only one thing that I hope that they do with this game that a lot of games fail to not do, and is I would be really impressed if they don't do a boss fight in the game. It's just try to keep it as faithful to the movie as possible. Like, yeah, by all means, have like a proper fisticuff with a really tough Nazi dude in an airport.
We need a chase on like a train or something, don't we?
Yeah, have
some kind
something
of
like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, there's too many games that just go into that safe thing of we need a big boss fight with a health bar.
Mm.
If you're doing Indiana Jones, just do it like the movie. Do it like the
Yeah,
movie,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
just go full hog. Just
I
play it
agree with
out
you
like
on
that.
that. Yeah,
That's
see,
my only hope.
I prefer that too, actually, rather than it being like, because when you play so many games, you get used to like noticing video game tropes and stuff.
Oh,
It's
if
like,
you walk into
oh,
an arena, you go, it's a boss fight.
it's a very video game, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
oh, we're in a boss fight. Clearly, we can see, clearly marked like places to hide or whatever. Oh, this is an arena, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Edge. I hope it's more like the movies, like in the way that they do it. But I'm very excited for it, and it's looking good. It's looking really
I mean,
good.
jumping from a plane to a plane, that's got to be like full on Indiana Jones there.
But there are
definitely.
some crazy set pieces in Wolfenstein, so they really know how to do their set pieces well. Do machine games. There are some crazy set pieces in Wolfenstein, and that'll be very Uncharted in itself. There are some crazy set pieces in Uncharted, so I'm looking forward to it. What was your take on it? Anything to add, Dante? Or
With indie, I think as long as you're able to interact with the NPCs a bit better than some of the Wolfenstein games, I don't think that worked out too well.
Yeah.
It does look good though, and you can tell the team have got the passion behind it, and they're like, oh yeah, we love this franchise. We're gonna do it justice. So I'm hoping it will be good. It looks
I
like
think
it's
they're
on the way.
working in partnership with Lucasfilms as well. So I think they are working in partnership with them. So so that it is authentic, so that the lore is correct and it is good. And they're getting the details right, and stuff like that. So I think that's important. And a lot of developers seem to be doing that. If they're doing like video, like film licenses, right? Like the new Avatar
'cause you gotta
Frontiers of
get
Pandora did that, and it really shows. It really shows the little fine details in it. So hopefully, that will be the case. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to play it. Honestly.
I mean, it's coming at a good time as well because there's no Uncharted games at the moment, and there's no Tomb Raider, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, well, they're working on a new Tomb Raider.
Okay.
Crystal Dynamics. They are working on a new Tomb Raider. They've confirmed that. And Naughty Dog is working on, I think, a new IP. I think they're working on something new. So I don't think they're working on an Uncharted. Well, they haven't given any hints on that. I think they're working.
I mean, yeah, they've probably done enough with that franchise now. Like, unless there's anything else.
And I don't think they're going to be working on The Last of Us Part 3 for a little while because there is going to be a third one. Clearly, I would love a new Uncharted. Oh, I'm so ready for that. Like a new Uncharted or a new Tomb Raider. Just something a bit different, I just love those games. I love them so much. So yeah, I think indie is going to give me that fix. It's going to give me that fix, that I want, which is great. Was there anything else, Dante, in announced in the developer direct that you were like, ooh yeah, I'm looking forward to that?
Yeah. Well, obviously, not some of the things we already knew about, like Senua, we know we're wanting to see that, but it's also not going to be a super fun game, is it? It's going to be a stress-filled.
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also semi-nervous to play it as well because I remember when I played it, like I actually did a Let's Play of the first game, and I'm not kidding you, partway through it, I legitimately had a panic attack. Partway through playing it, where I stopped breathing because just there was such a tense moment, and the game does a very good job of like just getting into your mind, and obviously it delves into sort of psychosis and schizophrenia, and like she has hears voices and things, and I'm kind of that bit of it where like where they come in different angles and the binaural audio of it. Like I hope it retains the core of like I'm fine with it being like a linear experience. I don't need anything too big, with the new Innocence, Plague Tale Innocence. I liked the first one, I think, more than the second one. It's not that I didn't like the second one and I enjoyed it, but they made the game bigger, more epic in scale, and I think it lost a little something
than it
through that. So I hope that the team, obviously Ninja Theory, that are working on Hellblade 2, that it is a focused linear narrative, 13-hour 15-hour, absolutely fine. I don't need no 30-hour epic, 40-hour epic. That's perfectly fine for me, because the game, like you said, it is a stressful playthrough. So it's not the kind of, you come away from it feeling like, whew, that was an experience. It was a great experience, don't get me wrong, and it was a very powerful experience, but you do feel tired, I guess is the right word.
It wears you out a bit.
It wears you out. But I am looking forward to seeing where they take Senua's story.
Yeah, and I really like seeing behind the scenes that it was giving as well, because I always like to see, and those actors as well. They're just
the
brilliant
woman
stuff.
that plays Senua is just incredible.
Yeah, she's mint.
Just incredible.
But of course, the moment the one that wasn't mentioned at the time, the moment it started bringing in some
The
Secret of Mana
surprise,
image, you're like,
Visions of
I
Mana,
recognise that instantly. What's going on? New Mana game? Sign
Ooh.
me up. So yeah, definitely up for that.
Looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, and from what I can tell, it looks like a kind of more of the same, but up to date with 3D roaming kind of jazz. Hopefully, it won't expand into boringness or anything like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it looks good. Like, and it's nice to see like Xbox getting some of that JRPG. Like they've really done a lot of work in kind of bringing that onto the Game Pass. Like Japanese developers and a lot of love for that kind of genre. Like all the Yakuza games are on there. Persona 3. Like the new Persona 3 Reload's going to be on there from 2nd of February, which looks incredible. Probably going to play that, I think. And then obviously, Visions of Mana. I think that's going to be one that you're going to really enjoy. It's been 15 years since a mainline Mana title. 15 years since the last one.
Yeah.
And and it's the first like Mana game on an Xbox console. So it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah.
So that's good then. That's kind of exciting, and it's nice to see Square Enix like giving a little bit of love to Xbox, because they've always been very closely tied to Sony and to PlayStation. So it is nice seeing them like also looking at other developers too, other publishers too, which is really cool. The other one obviously is Avowed. I'm still uncertain on Avowed. It obviously is by Obsidian Entertainment, and Obsidian made Outer Worlds, which I actually really friggin' loved. I really enjoyed it. So it looks like a fantasy, like more kind of like improved version. Like it's got a lot of things with Outer Worlds, like your companions that are with you that comment on things, and the gameplay looked kind of fun, like the dual wielding wands, which looked crazy. So that looked kind of fun. And obviously there's, melee weapons and shield and ranged weapons as well. So it looked pretty. It did look visually like the art style looked kind of gorgeous. But I'm personally never really been a huge fan of first-person RPGs. I prefer third person personally, because I like to see my character. That's a big thing for me. I get why some people do first person, because it's about that immersion, right? And being able to see details and things like that. And I did still enjoy Outer Worlds, right? Like even with it being first person and things like that. And the writing is very good. Like there's a lot of pedigree behind Obsidian. So I'm interested, but I wouldn't say I'm excited for Avowed. It's not like I can't wait to play that game. Like Indiana Jones, I'm excited to play it, right? Whereas Avowed, I'm like, I could check it out and maybe see how it is and pick it, in between other games. That's how I feel about it anyway. But yeah, we got some release dates on a lot of these. Avowed coming fall 2024. We got a release date for Hellblade 2, which is now in May, which is great because there's nothing much coming out in May at the moment. So that's nice. There's not much competing against it, which is good. Visions of Mana is coming out in summer, which is great if it releases, obviously. These dates could change. But the fact that they were like, it's coming out this year, right? And I thought it was a very strong, showcase, and I like this. I prefer this. I'm not a big fan of Xbox's showcases where they just throw trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer at you, and you have like 40 or 50 trailers but you just see mostly cinematics and you don't really get to know much about the game.
Yeah.
I like this style of like, you know what, let's focus on 4 or 5 games. Let's focus on our development studios. Let's show you some actual gameplay. Let's go behind the scenes and have a look at some of the concept art and what they're working on. I like this format.
Yeah, more of that.
And I want them to continue to do that. So I think that Xbox has had a really strong start to 2024. I think the ball is definitely in Nintendo and Sony's court, because I'm thinking what Sony's got coming out this year, like exclusive wise, and the only ones I can really think of is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is coming out on PlayStation 5. But they haven't got any big hitters coming out this year, Sony, that I can think of. Not that they've announced so far. Last year was a bigger game for them, a bigger year for them. And then obviously Nintendo, the only ones I can think of is probably Princess Peach Showtime, which looks really cute and fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And Mario versus Donkey Kong. But even Nintendo don't have a lot coming out this year, big hitters.
Well, the issue is with Nintendo at the moment is whenever Nintendo start to go quite quiet, generally.
End of their console life cycle.
Yeah, so there's obviously every year people keep saying there's a new console coming out and whatever, like a new Switch coming out. To be honest, I would say that the fact that they were showing off so many titles last year and just really kind of pushing the Switch a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if something is announced for this year for Nintendo, which means that they're basically getting prepared for the new stuff coming out.
Maybe.
For that. With Sony, they did have like the PlayStation Portal announced last year.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it's something they announced. Then they obviously announced like Final Fantasy. I personally would think at the moment it's going to come down to a couple of state of plays from now. My prediction is going to be they're hoping that Capcom will push next Resident Evil, probably. They'll mention more about Wilds. They're going to hopefully focus on well, they've even got like FF14 Dawn Trail coming out, so they'll be like,
oh yeah,
PS5.
yeah. Well, that's multiple platform, isn't it? Not just
it's gonna be on Xbox as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But soon.
But yeah, I think I mean Sony had a good year last year. They had a good year last year. They had a lot of good games that came out last year. They're not struggling. You know what I mean? And we're only in January, so we're still very early in the year. But I think for Xbox, it's a smart choice to get out early. Because they had a disappointing year in 2023. Redfall was a complete flop, awful. And then obviously Starfield, even though it's not a bad game, it was a average game. It didn't blow people out of the water. It was, for some people, it was a disappointment. Even though it sold a lot of copies and it had millions of people playing it. I think
it won a Steam award.
Critically, it was a disappointment. So I think it's a good move on Xbox's part. I think to start the year strong like this, and if you're a Xbox console owner, then you've got a lot to look forward to, I think, and a lot of variety, which is really nice. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope for more. We'll see when the next one is.
Yeah.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
So let's move on to the last community question. So obviously it's January. So in January, of course, we look ahead to the year. So the question I picked this year seemed like a good choice for this month, which was from Big Boss. And he asks, what is your most anticipated game of 2024 and why? So you can pick 1 or 2 games that you're really looking forward to coming out in 2024 that you're most excited about. Dante, do you want to go first, and then we'll go Edge, and then we'll finish with me?
Oh, well, only 2 come to mind because we keep constantly mentioning them. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I've always been an FF7 fan, and all its spin-offs and glory, and this does look to be nice. I've purposely been skipping trailers though to be even more surprised when it comes out.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. 2 discs as well. What?
I know. I wonder how big it's gonna be.
Yeah, and it might go a bit. Oh yeah, well, we'll see what happens, but I'm very much looking forward to that. And now I've been told about Visions of Mana. It's like, oh well, that's another RPG then. that I'm interested in.
2024 is the year
Square
of
stuff.
RPGs, man, and the year of Japanese developed RPGs, which is really cool. Like like 2023 had like really good like Baldur's Gate 3, obviously, good Western RPGs, and Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, right, and stuff like that. But this year is the year of JRPGs, like Japanese developed RPGs. It's going to be a good year if you're a JRPG fan.
I'm sorry, backlog. I'm sorry.
I know you're never going to get to that Xenoblade like DLC.
Oh yeah, the
are you?
season pass and that.
The
yeah,
season pass.
I've
You
still
need to
got
play.
4 games I just have not touched yet. It's madness.
There'll be some lull at some points, hopefully, to do that.
What's Edge looking forward to?
So I'm not mentioning FF7 Rebirth for this year.
We're all looking forward to it, I think. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my expectations kind of where they are because there's too many games coming out. I'm playing Granblue Fantasy February 1st. Persona 3 Remake I'll play on Game Pass eventually through February once I've done the other games. And then FF7 Rebirth. The 2 games that I'm looking forward to because one one is a long-running series, and I'm loving the story and the plot of where it's going, and the other is a spiritual successor. So, Illusion Chronicles 100 Heroes, which comes out in April, which is my birthday month,
and that's coming on to Game Pass as well, I think, isn't it?
Coming Game Pass, so I can just play it on that or buy it on PS5 if I wanted to. That one is like a spiritual successor to Suikoden, and I love that franchise. It's got a great art style. I played the prequel one, The Rising, last year. It was one of the videos I had on my channel where I was kind of talking a bit about it. And though it's a very different playstyle because that was Metroidvania-ish, I liked how they were kind of building up this kind of some of the characters you're going to meet in this game, and some of the like the background of what's going to happen. So I liked that kind of mechanic where you can have this kind of prologue in a side game ready for the big game coming out. So that one is tickling my fancy. I know Konami at the moment are totally trying to do the HD remasters of 1 and 2, and though I would love those games, Konami can eat a dick at the moment in time.
Okay.
Because to be really honest, they've wasted. They like Capcom. I love Capcom, but again, you've ruined Breath of Fire for me. So, until you can give me like what I want, I'm like, no, I love your games, other game franchises, but I won't forgive you for those particular ones. So Illusion Chronicles 100 Heroes. I'm really curious to see how different it is, how similar it is, and where they're going to go with it. And then the other one is Trails Through into Day. So, Trails Through Daybreak is the sequel series to Trails of Cold Steel and the Into the Reverie, which just came out last year. This getting a Western release in 2024, and it is involving the Calvert arc. So, this series has been going since the PSP days. So it was through Trails in the Sky, and each game sequel is based in another part of that continent. And there is sometimes carryover of characters from making appearances from those series as well. This one's going to have a mixture of turn-based and also action combat. So for me, that's quite interesting. And it also has a mechanic where you can make decisions which will affect the plot in that game. So I'm intrigued by it. I want to give it a go. I want to see where the story progresses to. And I love my JRPG series, and I want to kind of Falcom, they do a fantastic game series, and they did the YS ones I've been playing. So those 2 games, I want to give them some attention.
Yeah. Cool.
Because everyone's going to be saying FF7, so I'm like,
yeah. I mean, that's the big one, isn't it? But there are many of the good RPGs.
There's so many games coming out. I'm like, let's give those 2 a bit of love.
Yeah. That's cool. And Final Fantasy will always be there. You can wait until you've got some time to actually play it later and get it cheaper, possibly. So yeah, I obviously will pick different to what you guys have picked. So first one, actually, I'm really looking forward to is a smaller title. It's more AA, I would say. It's not a big hitter. It's called Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. And it's by Don't Nod, which is obviously they've done a lot of things, but I think the Don't Nod did Life is Strange as well, I think, right? They do really good narrative writing and choice-based writing, right? And consequence and stuff like that. It's so cool. It sounds really awesome. It's basically you play... it's two lovers, basically, Antia and Red, who's very Scottish looking. I think he is Scottish, actually. And they're basically ghost hunters. And effectively, what happens... And this isn't spoilers because it's in all of the trailer footage. Antia basically gets killed and comes back as a ghost, and you basically have to try. You make really difficult choices. So you're going through trying to help people, and you can either choose to let these spirits rest and let pass on nicely, or you can punish them, right, and take their essence to kind of revive Antia, which goes against everything that you believe. So you have to make really hard choices, in terms of there's no clear right or wrong choice, right? And I think it's going to be a really fun game. I'm going to sit down and play it with you, Dante, because I think it's going to be a really fun game to play with someone and be discuss and debate what you should do, and obviously see what happens. And the story plays out as you make these choices and that kind of thing. So it's that kind of the heart versus duty sort of dynamic. Yeah. But gameplay looks really cool. Obviously, Red is melee based, physical based, but Antia, because she's a spirit, she's got more magical, spiritual abilities and things like that. So, and you can switch between them, so she can kind of possess, almost. And so it looks really good. It's called Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. It looks really, really cool. And the more I've seen of it, let me just get rid of that. The more I've seen of it, the more I'm yeah, that looks pretty cool, and I'm very interested to check it out. And I am actually going to be streaming it on the channel when it releases in February. I think it's 13th of February. I think it's the day before Valentine's Day. So I'm going to be streaming it and looking forward to showcasing it. The other one I'm very much looking forward to, and I'm hoping it's going to be good, is Star Wars Outlaws. Which looks great. We got to see some gameplay. Obviously, it was scripted gameplay, clearly. I want to see more, but I'm excited at the prospect of playing not a Jedi, of playing a rogue Han Solo-esque, little bit grey character that does heists and things and exists in that Star Wars world. It's set I think when the Empire is at its height, right? And obviously you've got a ship, you've got a very cute little companion. Forget his name, but he's very cute. Can use him for stealth things. It just looks good. It looks really good, and I love Star Wars, so I'm very much looking forward to Star Wars Outlaws. I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm keeping a skeptical view on it at the moment, right? Because we've seen things before where we're that looks incredible, and I get so hyped and over the top excited about it, and then, it's not what we thought it was, kind of thing. So I'm going in optimistic but cautious kind of it. But it probably is my other most anticipated game if it comes out in 2024. We don't know if it will. It has a rough release date of 2024, but we'll have to see. But I just want to see more gameplay. I want to see more gameplay. I want to see how that transition works from planet to space. I want to see how exploration works, right? And a little bit on the story. So I'm kind of interested. And I like the idea of playing a female rogue kind of character. I think it's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. That's the other one I'm looking forward to. So yeah, so those are probably my two most anticipated games coming out in 2024, other than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is a given, and many other games too. But if I had to pick two, those probably would be the two. So that's it then. That is our podcast for today. Lots of things that we discussed. It's a pretty jam-packed podcast. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you guys thought of the gaming news topics that we talked about today. What did you guys think of the Xbox developer direct? What did you think of the showcase? Were there any games that you're looking forward to? And answer the questions that you asked us in the comment section below. So what is the craziest, most embarrassing thing you've ever been made to eat or do? And what games are you looking forward to in 2024? Make sure you do ask us more community questions in the comment section below. We will run out of those eventually, so do continue to ask us questions if there is anything that you do want to find out. And make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already done so. We're actually organising a monthly get-together with the community to hang out and game. And this month we're going to be playing Mass Effect 3 multiplayer on Sunday. So make sure you join the Discord if you want to be involved. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Edge. Thank you, Dante, for joining me for this month's podcast.
You're welcome.
Really, really appreciate it. Edge, do you want to plug your channel a bit? Tell people where they can find you, if you've got anything planned or stuff you've uploaded recently that they can check out?
So currently at the moment, if you want to see what I'm doing, my channel's called Edge Plays. You can see my logo at the top, so you know it's the channel. Currently, me and Strife are doing a series called Two Blokes Plays. N7 Kate and Dante have been a pilot in the past as well. And that's how our channel was first founded. We're currently also going to be playing a little bit of Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I'm currently going to be showing off a little bit soon of Granblue Fantasy. So if people want to see what it's like, they can get a kind of feel for it. And I also do podcasts as well, which is currently called the Edgecast. But at the moment, this week it's been called the Waffle Hour.
Waffle Hour.
Yeah, so if you haven't, new ones has come out literally today.
Yep.
And it's talking about Monster Odyssey in Wilds coming out next year. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, just leave us a comment below on the channel, and yeah, hope to see you there.
Cool. All right then, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast, thank you so much. We'll be back again next month with a podcast in February. No idea what we're going to talk about. It will depend what happens in February, so look forward to that. If there is anything that you do want us to talk about, questions or comments or suggestions for things, make sure you share those in the comment section below. We always take on board community feedback. But yeah, have a great week, everybody. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.
Johnny.
Bye.
We should go.